Hello widget watchers, welcome back to another video. In the last video we have gone through the what is GetX. Now in this video we are going to check how to implement GetX in your Flutter application. So here I have in this empty project. Now for implementing GetX in Flutter, first we need to add the get package in our project. So come into the pubspec.yaml file, and here first add get package, then tap on this pub get button to get the package in your project. Now close this and go to the lib directory, and here first create a folder controller, and then inside this counter controller.dart file. So in GetX, controllers manage the application state and logic, separating business logic from UI. They leverage reactive programming to update the UI automatically when data changes and support lifecycle management and dependency injection for modular and maintainable code. This is why we are creating this counter controller file to manage the state and logic of the counter functionality in the app. So now inside this class first create the counter controller. Then this class will extends GetX controller, then come inside this class, and here create a count variable and initialize its value as 0. Then add the .obs here, so this means that this variable is observable, which means any changes to count will automatically update any UI elements that are observing this variable. Now here create a method as increment, and inside this method just simply increase the count by 1. Now because count is an observable variable, any UI elements bound to this variable will automatically update to reflect the new value. Then just add one more method as decrement, and this method will subtract 1 from the count. Now here change this int to var because observable cannot directly applied on a primitive type like int. But if you still want to use int, then us are xint. So this was it for the controller part. Now let's move to the main.dart file. Now come inside this build method, and here inside this center widget add a text widget, and inside it add the counter value. Now we need to get this counter value from our counter controller. So for that let's first create an initialize counter controller. So for that first come above here and add init method of this class. Then go above here and create an instance of counter controller and mark it as late, because we will initialize it inside the init method. Now come inside the init method, and here add controller, then get.put, and inside it the controller name. So this put method is used to add an instance of a class to the GetX dependency management system. Now come inside the text with get, and here add the count value from the controller. Now here add the floating action button, then add a row widget, and inside it add the floating action button. Then for onPressed method call the increment method from the counter controller, and for icon add the add icon. Then copy this floating button and paste it one more time for the decrement button. Just change the icon and method name. Now whenever user will tap on this button, then the counter controller's method will perform its action and update the value of count. Then that updated value get reflected into our UI. So now let's test it. So save the code, and you can see here in the console that the counter controller has been created and initialized as expected. Now let's modify this UI. So for that first add the main axis alignment to space evenly for this row widget. Then add the font size to 30 for this text widget. Now save the code, and tap on these buttons. And shit, the UI is not getting updated, so save the code again, and now the counter value has been updated, so there is a state issue. So let's fix this. So for that copy this text widget, and here add the obx widget. So this widget listens for changes to observable variables and rebuilds the widget whenever those variables changes. And now inside it add the text widget. Now save the code, and you can see, whenever I'm tapping on these buttons then the UI is getting updated successfully. So this was it for this video, where we have gone through the basic implementation of GetX. Now if this video will have 10 comments in next 5 days, then I'll show you how to use dependency injection with the GetX. So yeah, that was it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.